shall we look at Patience had a great question here. And I think I want to spend a little bit of time on this. Patience, hi, I've been doing a PhD for almost 6 years, and it doesn't seem like I'm going to finish soon. Those of you listening on the podcast, we've got a heartbreak emoji, 1, 2, 3. So Patience, we really sympathize, and I want to just re-emphasize what Gabby said at the beginning. We believe in your ability to finish. We believe that you can put that gown on and cross the stage and get your degree. So the fact that you're here today in this webinar means you want to take action to get finished. But we also recognize the emotional distress that you're going through. As you say, it's really frustrating, and I don't know what other strategies to employ to finish. So my answer to you would be, Patience, phone Gabby Noodleman and book one of her packages, and I'm sure she'll give you a good discount rate if you say that you came to her through this webinar. But Gabby, in addition to a consultation with Patience, perhaps after this webinar, what could you suggest right now to her and anybody else listening?
Okay, so I would say the first thing to know is that it is doable, Patience and everybody else. Like, there's no reason why I should have been able to do my PhD and finish it and you couldn't. You can do this. I know you can. Because you signed up, you've stuck with it, you've shown the consistency to keep registering, to keep going on. So yeah, firstly, I know you can do it. And that's the first thing that I will say. Second thing that I will say is that maybe it's just worth taking a moment to just go back and look what you've done over the last 6 years. You know, if you've got your proposal through, that is a big deal. You did that. It didn't exist before you did, and you've done that. Whether you've collected your data or not, that is a big deal, and you've done it. Or even if you've just planned your data collection, you've got a plan. That is more than what doesn't exist, which is nothing, right? You've made this happen. So maybe just spend some time looking back and thinking, okay, what have I done? And just take a moment to recognize that. And if it's nothing, which I doubt it is, but you've shown the tenacity and the resilience to keep coming back, and you've done it in the midst of a pandemic, and you've done it in the midst of the repercussions on those pandemics on our lives, which have been huge in so many ways, and you've come back to keep going, and that shows enormous strength. So I think you get to say well done to yourself and give yourself a pat on the back. And then what I would do if I were you is what we were talking about at the beginning of the webinar is kind of look and think like, okay, when can I get this done? Is it the end of next year? Okay, and if that's it, it's a long goal, but is that it? And okay, what do I still need to do? And try and create one of those schedules for yourself, like what Peter was saying on the video that he's going to share, the course that he's going to show, or as I just briefly spoke through at the beginning. But create that plan for yourself, a kind plan, a soft plan, a compassionate plan, and get going again. Get those small wins happening, ticking them off. You've stuck with it long enough. You deserve to get this. It's not a reflection on you that you haven't made the progress that you want to, and it's never too late to keep going and get the PhD done. You've got plenty of time, and you can still do this thing.
Yeah, thanks, Gabby. I appreciate that advice so much. And I have now shared that course there, and there's free access for you, Patience, and anybody else on this webinar. And the lesson that I had up on the screen is in that course. And what it sounds to me like, Patience, is you are hopefully in the latter stages, finishing off, and perhaps, have a lot of writing and structuring of the actual document that you need to work through. And that's really where the focus of that course is in terms of the plan that I showed earlier. And just breaking the 6 months or however long it is that you think you'll be able to finish, as Gabby said, try and peg that a date. And then, as she said earlier, work backwards from that, and then use the planning techniques in that course to fill in the dates and the pieces of work that you need to do. And then manage around your life. You don't have to do this 24/7, block off a couple of weekends, couple of holidays, and then you'll look forward to those, and those will be milestones that you can use to reward yourself for the great work that you do. So Patience, go through that. And just a little bit of an update there. She says, yes, she's writing her first draft. Okay, so it sounds like you're in the depths of this writing process that can be draining and lonely and difficult. So phone Gabby, get a consultation with her, pick up my course. Hopefully those are some actions that you can take. And the last action that I would suggest to you is to come and join us in our Student Success Coach Facebook group. We have now more than 2,000 people, people like Tracy Ashington and Natasha Frank and Gabby and others. And many guests that we've had on this webinar are also active in that group. And that is a very safe space within which you can share and get support. And we even have 6 mentors that have signed up in that group that you can contact through the Facebook feature of that group, and get sort of ongoing weekly support with them, even if it's just a 20-minute check-in to keep you focused and on track. So
yeah, I'll jump onto there, because I was going to say something similar about finding a community, and that community may be in person if you're lucky enough to be at an institution with humans, although probably not at the moment. And yeah, there are these amazing online communities. So the one that Peter set up, I think it's just such a real valuable experience. Contextually, we're all in a similar place, in a similar space, and we can understand the challenges that we're going through. That's a big one. I'm also in an academic mommies group on Facebook, and I really like that one as well, because it also acknowledges the kinds of, God bless my children, but the sort of stresses that having little people has on my academic life as well. And there's so many little subcategories as well that you can find. So here's a small win for you. Find a little community that you feel that you resonate with. And it's really motivating to know other people are in the same situation.
Yeah. And Natasha's just put a comment on there as well to say that she was thrilled about getting her proposal through, busy with her PhD, and seeing the post from patients and the discussion that we've had just now gives her hope, because it means still focused and asking the correct questions. You're here, you're taking action. There's a course, there's a community, there's experts like Gabby. I'm going to look up this academic mummies, because it sounds absolutely brilliant. And we'll post that into the group as well later on.